So there's a historian that Tucker Carlson interviewed, and Tucker Carlson got mad and cursed him out. And I went and I watched the interview, and I was like, yeah, this guy's annoying. I would have cursed his ass out too. So it was a guy named Rutger Bregman, and he's a historian. And like during the whole interview, he was like, "You're a millionaire funded by billionaires, aren't you? Aren't you?" And I'm just like, "But you have a TED Talk. You have a book published. You're doing a video that's being sponsored by NowThis. The owner of NowThis, or the co-founder of NowThis, is the co-founder of the Huffington Post. He's a billionaire too. So, technically, you're being funded by billionaires too." So I checked this guy out a little bit, and I guess he's somebody that's basically for like universal income, and he wrote a book called Utopia for Realists, which I might read only if I can get at the library, because I don't want to like give him my money. But I listened to his TED Talk, and I'm just, he's Dutch, so I guess he's from the Netherlands, and I'm just so sick of these people that, I mean, to be fair, when you hear about things going on in other countries, human nature, you're going to have an opinion, right? But I'm so sick of these people that get their news from CNN that are like, that are in Europe, and they have no idea about what it is to live in poverty in America, and have no idea about the problems we face, and they get their ideas from the mainstream media. Now, I think that his intentions are good, because he was talking about universal income, and I think a lot of people that are for universal income, they have good intentions because they think that that's the way to get rid of poverty. I personally don't. I'm all about empowering people, educating people, but at the end of the day, some people are going to work more than others. Some people are going to work harder than others. So he was proposing that you get a basic stipend, just for basic living expenses like food and shelter. But I'm just like, but how are you going to guarantee that those resources aren't going to be cut off? I'm more about teaching people how to farm and how to fish and how to get food for themselves, and maybe making housing affordable so they can work toward those things, but they still own them and nobody can take them away from you. So this guy seems like he's a little bit naive. Actually really naive, but he's cocky. He's just a cocky intellectual, which is such a turnoff. The whole time I kept looking at him, I was like, can I get 3 wishes? Could you look like a leprechaun? Do you live at the end of the rainbow? Because it's the way he's thinking, he seems like he lives at the end of the rainbow. And where he's like going off on Tucker about being funded by billionaires. He's being funded by billionaires too, and TED Talk are funded by billionaires. They're a globalist organization. I like some TED Talks. I enjoy some TED Talks. I've learned a lot of things from TED, and I've been inspired by some things from TED Talks. I'm not saying they're totally bad, but they're very geared toward globalism and pushing that agenda, and he's definitely part of that. I don't even know if he knows that. He probably, I'm guessing he doesn't. He's probably just a useful idiot. But it's just very interesting to see this guy like talk about that. I'm just like, but you're the same too. I'm just the arrogance, the assumptiveness of these people, and he's going on about like the tax returns. Like, Trump didn't even show his tax returns. I was like, dude, you're a historian. Like, I'm gonna need you to get back into the present, because there was, the whole thing with Rachel Maddow and how she took his tax returns and actually found out he paid more than like Bernie Sanders. So where are you getting your information? Like, even his TED Talk, he was like, I used to think that, poverty, couldn't be solved. And then I read this paper I'm like, oh, great, you read a paper? Wow. Okay, I guess you're really living life now. You read a paper. So I'm looking at Thomas Sowell, and he has a better explanation for me with the disparities of income. He's brilliant, and he's not cocky. Like Thomas Sowell, he knows a lot of stuff, but you can talk to him and he doesn't have this like arrogant attitude, which this guy had. Is just such a turnoff. It was so gross. I'm just so sick of these people that, that the whole intellectual, like cocky guys that think they know better than everybody else, and if you don't, you're just like below them, you know? So yeah, I would have cursed his ass out too. I'm wondering if he probably won't air it. I'm sure he was embarrassed, but you know, people are human, and when you have little cocky little fucks like that, you know, are, you know, being jerks, then yeah, maybe you might lose it, you know? Like, this is why I enjoy this channel, and I'm not really having to be professional, because I could just say what I want. I'm not really owned by anybody, and I have another job because, you know, I'm not depending on this YouTube channel being my main source of income. So, you know, I don't have to really censor myself as much. I know I need to clean up my cursing. I know I say like a lot and you know a lot, and I'm working on that. It's hard to break those habits, but I would like to become a better speaker. But yeah, you should check it out. I'm curious to know what you guys think. He also wrote a book called Utopia for Realists, I think, and I went on Amazon, and the main caption of the book, or the opening, like, I think it's like not the caption, but it's the description of the book. It says, open borders and universal income sound too good to be true. I was like, open borders. I was like, I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the book from the library, because I'm not like spending money on this. But yeah, I just think that, you know, there's some people that their intentions are good and they live in this, you know, but they live in like, like another dimension, because they want to fix the world's problems, but they don't really have a grasp on reality. But you have people like TED Talks, and you know, you have people that are supporting him, the other billionaires that are supporting him, that have that globalist agenda, that promote him and fund him so he can get his ideas out there, because they want to get people in the state of mind of dependence and keep them dependent on the system, which is, to me, what universal income will be. His TED Talk wasn't so bad. You know, I was just talking about this the other day, about how people have jobs that they don't really like, and somebody, you know, I did a live stream and somebody was like, oh, universal income, or we should only work, you know, a few hours a week. I was like, well, you know, work isn't that bad if you have a job that you like doing. So I think the main problem is we have, you know, a lot of people working jobs that they don't want to work because they don't have any passion. But I think that those issues lie in education, in the school system. I will say that there is like a conspiracy, so to speak, but you know, in the education system to dumb us down, to curtail diversity of thought and ideas within the pharmaceutical industry, to keep us weak, and, you know, to dumb down our consciousness. But I mean, those are issues that aren't going to be fixed with money. It's going to be fixed with people and empowering them, and, you know, giving them information so they can work for themselves, and they don't have to be dependent on somebody to give them money. I mean, I really don't think that people should have to struggle to have a place to live. But at the same time, where a system is, I just don't really see that working. If we're going to be dependent on somebody to tell us, or for our survival, in the form of us, like, you know, just putting our hands out and saying, give me money every month. Because, you know, what he was proposing was, it's going to come with no strings attached. But that doesn't work. Like, he obviously doesn't understand human nature. So I think he's a bit naive, but I like I said, like, he just got on my nerves, because he's just arrogant. It's the ignorant arrogance that I can't stand, right? So I don't know. And, you know, TED promotes a lot of people like this, so it's not really surprising. They just use people. You know, I'm not going to knock his intelligence. I'm pretty sure he's a smart guy, but you know, they use these people as a useful idiot. So I wonder, you know, he seems a bit young. I wonder what he's going to think 10 years from now. I wonder if he's still going to have that same mentality. Yeah, I wonder what he's going to think of it now. But anyway, you guys check it out. What do you think of intellectuals? I'm actually about to watch this Thomas Sowell interview. I have this book that I have not finished reading, called Intellectuals in Society. And he talks about, like, the whole thing about intellectuals, and you know, I mean, I love learning. I come from a family of teachers. I'm constantly trying to learn things and educate myself, but acquire knowledge. But I also I really don't like the intellectual kind of circles. And even though Thomas Sowell is considered an intellectual, like he doesn't really seem like he likes it either, because I even have friends that have worked in academia, and they just talk about how much people argue all the time, and how nobody really wants to hear other people's ideas. Like, you get to a point where you're kind of prominent and stuff, and you think that you know everything and nobody else can tell you anything. And it's just really it's stifling to the human experience, because then you're a person that's an intellectual, and then they get into power, and you get people that fund you, and your ego gets blown up, and you actually, in the end, I think you end up doing more harm than good, because you're not really concerned about other perspectives. You're concerned about making yourself look good and yourself look great. So, and in that case, you need to get your ass cursed out. So anyway, that's my thoughts, you guys, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye. Peace and love. Mwah.